You've probably heard all the hype about AI in medicine, right? These super smart algorithms that can spot diseases on scans, sometimes even better than a human doctor. But what if I told you there's a huge, dangerous blind spot? What happens when these brilliant AI tools leave the cozy confines of the lab and get dropped into a brand new hospital? Well, often they fail. And in medicine, failure can have some really serious consequences.
So here's the secret, the thing that nobody really talks about. An AI that's trained and perfected in one hospital can become dangerously unreliable the second you try to use it in another one. This is a massive vulnerability in a technology that we're increasingly starting to trust with our lives. This is what researchers call the generalization gap. It's this massive divide between the promise of the universally brilliant AI doctor and the cold, hard reality. It turns out that tiny, subtle differences in patients, in the X-ray equipment, even just in hospital procedures, can completely throw an AI off its game. And honestly, it's one of the single biggest challenges facing medical AI today.
So to really figure this out, a group of researchers set up this massive global experiment. And they chose a task where even a tiny mistake could be a matter of life and death, checking the placement of breathing tubes for patients in intensive care units.
Okay, so what are we talking about here? It's called an endotracheal tube, or ETT. Basically, it's a lifeline for patients who can't breathe on their own, but its placement has to be absolutely perfect. If it's off by just a little bit, we're talking millimeters, it can lead to some really serious, devastating complications. This is a super high-stakes task where precision is everything.
And just look at the scale of this thing. We're not talking about a couple of hospitals down the road. We are talking 23 hospitals across 12 countries on 5 different continents. So why go so big? Well, because if you want to build an AI that's truly reliable, you have to throw the entire world's diversity at it. This wasn't just a test, you guys. This was the ultimate AI stress test.
All right, so to find the best approach, the researchers basically set up a competition. They had 3 different AI training methods go head-to-head. The whole point was to find the one single method that could create an AI that wasn't just smart, but was safe and reliable no matter where on Earth it was being used.
Okay, method number 1. This is kind of the set it and forget it approach. You build one model in one place, and then you just ship it out to every other hospital, exactly as is. Simple, right? But is it going to work?
All right, method 2 is a bit smarter. Here, each hospital gets the original model, and then they retrain it using their own patient data. This definitely helps it adapt to its local surroundings. But here's the catch. All that new knowledge, it's stuck. It's siloed. The hospital in Tokyo has no idea what the hospital in Boston just learned. Nobody else gets to benefit. And then there's method 3, the journey. This one is really cool. Imagine the AI is like a seasoned traveler, a student on a world tour. It starts at Hospital A, it learns from their data, and it gets a little smarter. Then, that newly upgraded smarter model travels to Hospital B, learns from their unique data, and gets even smarter. It just keeps going, accumulating new wisdom at every single stop. And this is the absolute genius part. The whole time this AI was on its world tour, not a single piece of private patient data ever left its home hospital. 0. Only the AI's learnings, the updated model weights were passed along. It's kind of like sharing the notes you took from a textbook without ever having to share the book itself. This makes global collaboration possible while keeping patient privacy completely locked down. So, the big question. After this epic global showdown, who won? Well, let me tell you, the results weren't just clear, they were absolutely staggering. Just look at these numbers. They tell the whole story. That original, out-of-the-box model, an error of 16.4 millimeters. The local training model got it down to 12.5, which is better, but the continual learning model, the Traveler, just blew them both away with an error of only 10.6 millimeters. It wasn't even a close race. It was a total blowout.
And you gotta remember, these aren't just numbers on a chart. We're talking about patient safety here. A smaller error means a more reliable AI, which means fewer potentially life-threatening mistakes. It's that simple.
Let's actually break down how this learning happened. It's fascinating. The model starts its journey, right? After visiting just 2 hospitals, its average error had already dropped to 11.9 millimeters. It was already learning and improving right from the get-go. Fast forward to about halfway through its trip. After learning from 11 different hospitals, each with its own quirks, the error is down even more, to 10.5 millimeters.
With every new environment it saw, the AI was getting more robust, more accurate.
And then the grand finale. By the time it had visited all 22 hospitals, soaking up all that diverse clinical knowledge, its average error was down to an incredible 9.7 millimeters. The proof is right there in the pudding. The more this thing saw, the smarter it got. That's the power of learning on a global scale.
So, what does this all mean? Look, this is way bigger than just one AI model for checking breathing tubes. What this study really gives us is a blueprint. It's a roadmap for a future where medical AI is smarter, safer, and this is key, actually works for everyone, everywhere.
So let's just recap why this continual learning idea is such a game changer. First, it's safer for patients, period. Second, and this is huge, it completely respects patient privacy. Third, it makes global collaboration not just possible, but actually easy. And get this, it works with very little data, just 50 images per hospital. Finally, it helps close the gap, making high-quality AI accessible to everyone, not just the big-name hospitals.
So I want to leave you with this thought. Right now, most medical AI is stuck in its own little bubble. But what if? What if it could learn from every hospital, from every patient case all around the world to get better for everyone? Imagine an AI that's constantly evolving, constantly improving, fueled by the collective knowledge of the entire medical community. That's not science fiction. That's the future this study is pointing us toward.